So how do we make our decisions? And obviously, in decision making, a lot of things factor in. And we try to take a lot of time because we want to make sure it's the right decision. But there are actually people that are fascinated with decision making, and that's how Maslow's hierarchy of needs came to be. So, what's Maslow's hierarchy of needs? It's a theory in psychology that tries to explain the things we do and why we do it. And you might not be familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, so maybe you'll recognize some of the stages. As for why I'm credible talking about this, I've actually had 2 years in peer counseling, and my sister had 3 years in conflict mediation. And in peer counseling and in conflict mediation, we both study social issues. And one of them is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And for expectations, by informing you guys about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, hopefully there will be a better understanding of yourself and others in general. And in this speech, I plan to give a brief background, outline the levels, and provide extra information. And as for background, we'll be talking about Abraham Maslow and the timeline. So then, who is Abraham Maslow? He's considered the father of American humanism, and he's considered the father of American humanism because during a time where there was a lot of scientific discoveries, but we're concerned about the human condition because it felt like there were robots instead of humans. So he came up with this theory. So then, according to Dr. C. George Beer, in 2006, the philosophy professor, Dr. C. George Beer, on Webspit Edu, which is a website on Shippensburg University. Maslow was one of the pioneers in that movement to bring the human being back into psychology and the person back into the personality. And as for timeline, so in 1943, there were only 5 levels, and on 1960 and 70, it expanded to include 3 more. So then on the original, there are 5 levels: psychological, safety, belonging, esteem, self-esteem, and on the next one included 3 more: cognitive needs, aesthetic needs, and self-transcendence. And for the hierarchy of needs, more concise version of the needs. Psychological would be things like health, food, shelter. Sleep, and safety would be shelter, and position in removal from danger. Belonging would be love, affection, and friendship, and esteem will be from self and from others. So basically, if you feel confident, and self-actualization is achieving like the peak. And for the 3 added new ones, for the cognitive needs is like, the need for knowledge. For aesthetic needs is like the journey to beauty or whatever. Yeah. And for self-transcendent needs, it's like even if you reach your potential or peak, you help others out to do the same thing. So yeah, it's a pyramid, and it's supposed to be go into order 1 to 7. But then you could ignore the 4, 5, and 7. So now we're going up to caution. There's actually a lot of flexibility and exceptions. It could be modified because depending on who you are, you might not feel like one need is like bigger than other. Like you might not feel that you might feel like you don't really need friends. So I guess the pyramid part doesn't really count. And for some exceptions, You don't need to go in order because there was this one actor, Daniel Day-Lewis, that spent 6 months out in the wilderness just for to get into character. So he sacrificed safety for self-actualization. So you don't need to go in order. So then, review. By informing you guys about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, hopefully there will be a better understanding of yourself and others in general. And in this speech, I plan to give, hopefully I was able to give a brief background, outline the levels, and provide extra information. And that concludes our presentation.